After a while of doing the regional promotion, London plugger Richard Swainson, Sally Swainson, had left and was replaced by Chris Webb, who'd come in from Polydor. And I can't remember the chain of events why, but at some point I was going to be the new plugger with Chris going to Radio 1. And I was given office to share with him and with Tommy Loftus, Tommy doing Radio 2. And Chris wasn't the sort interested in taking me around to introducing me to anyone. So I took myself up to Egton House and I met up with Anya Wilson and Sally Ray, who were the indie pluggers who were retained by Tony DeFries to work on Bowie. And then, bless them, took me around and introduced me to Johnny Beerling and Ron Belchier and Roger Pusey and introduced me to everyone. And that's how I started. Chris eventually used to come with me, and he was a terrible wind-up merchant. And one day we had 4 new releases, so I had to carry the 4 boxes. He'd be strolling along, and we'd be walking through Berkeley Square, and he said, "What do you reckon of such and such a single?" I won't say which one it was. I said, "I don't rate it much." He said, "No, me." And he said, "Give me the box," and he put them in the dustbin as we were walking through on the lamppost on the way to the BBC. And I only had 3 boxes to carry. So I don't know who's the artist. Their single never actually reached Radio 1. To be a plugger in the 70s, and probably subsequently as well, and the 80s, because I was an independent all through the 80s, the first thing you needed to have was an incredibly thick skin, because you either got it in the neck from certain Radio 1 producers. I mean, some would politely say to you, "No, sorry love, it's not for me." But others would be not so kind. A certain producer, no longer with us, used to produce Johnny Walker's show, which had the new chart on a Tuesday. I took around a single that RCA had released on the Barclays record label by Charles Aznavour called She. And he actually told me to fuck off with it and take it around to Radio 2. And I said, "But I don't do Radio 2, we got Tommy Loftus." "Oh, just get out of here." And of course, about 3 weeks later, it got into the top 30, and he rings up the office, and I heard my secretary pick up the call. "Oh, you need a copy of She by Charles Aznavour. Didn't Willie drop one off for you?" "No." "Oh, we'll have a word with him." I said, "Liar. Of course he did. He put it in a bin." I took another one up and said, "I think you're missing this." So you needed a thick skin. You also needed a thick skin from clients, particularly when you're an independent or you're in a company. If you weren't getting the airplays they think you should have been getting on it, they wanted to know why. "What do you mean Radio 1 don't like it? It's great. You said it was great. I think it's great. Why don't they think it's great?" "Because they don't think it's great." That conversation happens hundreds of times. It's just the way it is. The protocol, I mean, you used to go up there and the commission used to say, "I'm from RCA Rolls, Commissioner, yeah, up you go." And that was it. There was no signing in or anything like that. You used to walk along the corridors and knock on the door. "You're busy. Can't see you now." Sign the door. "Yeah, come in." All that kind of thing. And you soon learned, if it was Ron Belchier, you didn't go after lunch because he'd had a liquid lunch and you couldn't deal with him. But there were others there, and some were really great.